Spring has finally come to the tiny city farm. Now, while it was slow to start, this is also the last month of spring. And pretty soon it's going to get really hot as we move into summer. So we've still been scurrying to try and get a lot of the infrastructure type work done before it does get too hot to do much of anything. So let's see what happened in November, shall we? G'day folks, Andy here from McDowell Manor. It's the 6th of November. The weather's come good. Funny temperatures though, I've got to say. Oh, there's Sam the lizard. He's become a regular guest star, hasn't he? Anyway, the weather's still quite bizarre. There's the news reporting flooding about to happen yet again in New South Wales, which is south of us. Slightly different story up here. I thought I had assassin bugs and I was actually really happy about it, but it turns out they're not assassin bugs. We've done a little bit more investigation and they're actually a sucker. So that's what's causing this damage to citrus. They love citrus. So Rossie's picking them off as she finds them, which is good of her. There's a lesson for me in there. Get to know your bugs better, Andy. It looked all the world like an assassin bug. Peaches are on. We've had to net them, and even then a few things, every so often they get taken. And as you can see, there's no peach in there anymore in that bag. There should be a few. Oh, there's one over there. So there is, there's not a lot, but I'm happy with what we have got. Hopefully I'll get a few. Peanut gallery. Chickens are back on the lay. Cut this salt bush way back. Starting gradually to pick up in the aquaponics bed, which I'm really happy about. I still haven't on the 6th managed to get around to doing anything with those little low beds there. Quail in the front, she's quite old and not long for this world, the poor old thing. So when she gets just too infirmed, I'll have to put her down. The males are down to about 3. There's only a few of them left now. So I have actually been eating a bit of quail, trying a few different quail recipes. You know, because mine are a bit tough. And that's because I'm not in a rush to kill quails. It's not high on my list of fun things to do. I do it because I've got to do it. But the boys usually get to about 12 months old before I have to do them. So I'm happy with that. They get a bit of a life. They get a bit of a run around. I think that's more than a fair trade-off. So the front wall's still not painted. We had a bloody couple of wet days and they were real wet. So of course the wall got all wet again internally. So we're still waiting for that to be dry enough to paint. It's brought me a bit more time to, you can see I'm slowly but surely removing kumquats still. Broken the back of it now. Oh, I have to see if I mentioned the small hive beetle. I lost a beehive, a native hive. I think I did mention this last time. I might have included a photo. Got small hive beetle into it. It's where that hive was. I laid a good lot of diatomaceous earth around. You can probably see the little bees zipping about. That's them under there. And there's a second hive over there, that white box. They're doing well too, and I diatomaceous earthed around that as well. That stops the larvae of the small hive beetle. So still eating a lot of silver beet greens, warrigal greens. Forget what spinach that is. I don't eat a lot of it. I really got to start and increase my consumption of that. Otherwise it's all just going to go to waste. The blueberries are coming in. Not getting a terrible lot, but we'll probably end up with a couple of 100 grams, which I'm happy enough about. Little fruit trees are producing a little bit of fruit. The sorrel's starting to sort of see its better days now. I am getting a few tomatoes, cherry tomatoes. I'm up to about 6 bags of that now, so definitely going to be making, that's parsley, definitely going to be making more silver beet under there. I'll be making my pasta sauce pretty soon. So any tomatoes that get eaten by some, whatever, possums, rats, whatever, I break them down and throw them on the ground so that the seeds can regrow. We're doing well with cucumbers, well over 1 kilo already. There's more silver beet. The beetroot, we've harvested for the first time over 1 kilo of beetroot, and you can see there's still a ton of it in there. I'm going to pickle that, I reckon. Garlic still doesn't look like it's ready to come out to me, so it'll stay till next time. Something's impacted on that avocado, not sure what. Otherwise looks very healthy. Choco vine is going nuts, doing really well. Not seeing any chocos nor any flowers. It mustn't be the season, eh? Oh, it's making a liar of me. There's a flower there now. Maybe it's coming into season or something. Oh, Rosie did over 1 kilo of beans she's picked this morning. Susan, if you're watching, that's what I call Susan's rattlesnake beans. Really is a good variety. I'm so glad she put me onto that. So I am getting a good crop of, I've actually started calling them lentils now. They're tor dal or pigeon pea, and tor dal, as far as the Indians are concerned, is a lentil, and that's the only way I like to eat it. So I'm often referring it just as the lentil tree now. You can see things are going along okay. Bananas are booming, honestly. They're going great guns. I'm doing what I should be doing to manage them, reducing the number of leaves. You know, there's only ever 3 pups, or 2 pups in the main tree. Still not getting any bananas. I had a ton of native raspberries. Rosie tells me I've got to get up and harvest. In the back there is the Madagascar bean. Got a good crop of mulberries. Well, it's a good crop for me. If you had a big proper tree, it wouldn't be a good crop, but it is for me. Well, we are on day 15, so I have taken the egg rocker out of the incubator. You can see on the bottom I've put a silicone liner. That's to provide grip, so if I do get chicks, their little feet have got something to grab onto. If you don't do that, they'll splay a leg, which is often death. So hopefully we'll get some more quails. We'll see how that goes. So the great kumquat war has continued. What you're looking at there is not kumquat trees, but here's where they used to be. There's one left, and I'm about to go and get the chainsaw and neck him now. Even though there's a bit of fruit on him, Rosie said get rid of it, get it gone. So that's what's going to happen. That's as good as I can do. I decided it's not worth even trying to dig them out. And I'll just plant. I've worked out spacing for new trees, and as it turns out they go right in the middle of where the other 2 were. So there's one. The other one's down there. It'll go right about where that bougainvillea is. I'm losing the war, folks. I didn't think I'd win the great kumquat debacle war. Rosie's looking like she wants ornamentals. Breaks your heart, doesn't it? Building site garden's going quite well. Geez, I wish I could get some bananas. Fair dinkum. Anyway, it's all continuing. Another thing I'm going to have to do in the kumquat, what was the kumquat bed, is a lot of these lights don't work anymore. Well, that's not true. A lot of the lights up this end don't work anymore. So I'm going to, probably what I'll do, the transformer's fine. And the lights down the other end work fine, but I think I'll replace them too. So what I'll do is buy a whole lot of new lights and rig all that up. When it comes out of here it's all low voltage, so I'm okay with that. And we'll see what happens. That's another job, eh? I was just looking at the transformer. Okay, that's the cord for the end that doesn't work. Now the end that does work comes out a different place down the bottom there. So obviously this side's where it's buggered somewhere. But of course, if I've got to change at least 3 of the lights, well actually maybe I don't. Maybe instead of changing the lights, I just need to rewire. Well, that'd save me a bit of dough, because the lights were working. They're a bit old and buggered, but they work. Well, normally they work. Yeah, I think we're on a cunning plan, folks. So, we've got one little chick out. Now, I'll see if I can show you. The other thing I can see, the edge of that egg, and the egg beside it, and over there. So we are about to have more chicks emerge. As you can see, they really are cute as a button. I'll get the brooder set up now. Now I try not to open this until most of the chicks are out. So hopefully you can see from that egg there what they do. It's really interesting. Is they progressively chip their way right round the top of the egg until they can get out. Really startling, isn't it? So that little guy's certainly got a lot more attentive when I come in the room now. So you can see the brooder, what's today, the 13th. You can see the brooder's been cleaned out. I spray it with a Dettol water mix. So it really was a hideously disappointing run. I got 3 birds out of about 20 eggs. It's shocking. And that one poor little bloke in the top of the screen there, he was actually caught down inside the brooder. It was just that he was pretty vocal. I managed to get him out. So whether he'll survive or not is another issue. Keeping the water up to him's also an issue. Oh, he's located the food. That's a good start. So he probably will. We'll probably get 3 birds. And clearly I'll do another, I'm going to do another run with eggs, and hopefully we'll have a decent lot. So 3 birds extra were born and died on the first day, so they were obviously sickly and weak. So what I've done is chop up an old plastic lid of, you know, one of those Chinese food containers. And that should prevent, they were going down in the corners. Probably especially that corner was, as you can see, is quite a wide gap. So hopefully that'll solve the problem. So the finger limes are hanging on, and I mean, I wouldn't describe them as big yet by any stretch of the imagination, but I have got a few on and they do appear to be holding, which is great. So spring has arrived, folks. 30-degree days now. There's no rain forecast for the next week. So I'll be taking to using the tank water until that's all gone. That'll get us through well and truly. As I said, that bed's slowly but surely starting to come back. Now it's getting sun. Spring. Geez, it was a late one. So far I've managed to eat 1 peach. Can you believe it? 1 peach. And you can see, even though they're in bags, something's been eating them through the bag somehow, and I can't see very big obvious holes. So that's interesting. There's only, like I say, there's 1 left. So maybe I will have gotten 2 peaches out of my peach crop. Unbelievable. So I am going to hit that peach tree pretty hard and cut it right back soon. That way it's got plenty of time to recover. Wow, blowing a gale for some reason. Holy cow. Oh well, it must be going to rain tomorrow or something, eh? So you can see my cheap Charlie little grinder's out, and that's because that's the last kumquat tree with the chainsaw line on it, so if it drips oil it only drips it in. So I've got to cut all that up, and I'll run most of that, probably not some of the really big thick stuff, but most of it will go through the grinder and get used as mulch. 16th today, I believe. And there's our kumquat free garden bed, folks. So the only plants that's in that bed now, on the top part anyway, are the bougainvilleas. Every one of the kumquats is gone. Just between me, you and the gate post, some of those fellas were actually getting pretty darn big. So we've harvested our elephant garlic from out of the big grow bag I had it in, which lets me talk a bit about the life cycle of an elephant garlic. Now they produce cloves every 2 years, not annually. So year one, you start with these corms, those little yellow corms. Now after a year they grow into rounds. So I'm drying the corms and the rounds, and they'll be stored till next autumn, and that will fall depending on where you live, and they'll get planted, and hopefully I'll get more of them, and these will get planted, and hopefully they'll produce big cloves which you can also then eat. So what I'm thinking at the moment is this one looks like it's the biggest and best, so that's the one I'll use to breed off of. So there you go. Still in November, it's still weird weather. It's been hot as Hades sometimes and quite cool others. So today is the day. We're going to make cherry tomato vegetarian pasta sauce, and we'll can that up. So we ended up with almost 3 litres of that tomato pasta sauce, which is pretty darn good. And the big news, the house painting is finally completely finished, including that wall. Hallelujah, isn't that wonderful? You can see what I'm doing. I'm approaching this like a no dig. So I'm lining all the bottom here with cardboard, and then the rocks will come back on top. And hopefully, it's only 31 degrees today. It's a bit overcast, so the sun's not a shocker. Hopefully I'll get all the rocks in place, and after that it's the easy fun stuff, you know, where we start putting pots in with our subtropical stuff. So this is typical Queensland weather. Well, it's typical from when I grew up as a kid anyway. So it's quite hot in the day, then late in the afternoon usually, it's a bit early today, it'll rain, and that cools everything down. Welcome to the subtropics, folks. Unfortunately, it does slow down the job somewhat. So you can see I got a bit more. The black rock's all in. We're cleaning the white ones and they're starting to go in. Whew. Of course, what happened again today? Rain, didn't it? Boy, don't I have to clean out that bloody fountain. Holy cow, it's a bit of a mess. No worries. It's the last day of spring and I'm not going to get the white rocks finished. The water's set in again. You can probably see it in the fountain there. I didn't put that in. That's rainwater from just today. It's been raining for days now again. And believe it or not, so it's nearly the first day of summer. Yes, I'm in jeans. And yes, long sleeves. Can you believe it? It's cold and it's wet. Don't worry folks, there's no such thing as climate change, but normally this time of year it would be stinking hot. Well, there you go, that's the end of spring. I hope you enjoyed the activity around the tiny farm over the last month of spring, and we'll see you in this series again at the end of the first month of summer. Hopefully the bloody white rocks will be in. Alright folks, alright.
Backyards by growing their own fruit and veg. The urban farming movement can help beat cost of living pressures, and it also has health benefits. There's no need to take a trip to the country to buy produce at the farm gate. This is 20 minutes from the CBD in Corinda.
Local, it's fresh, I know where it's grown.
We're direct to the farmer, helping the farmer. There's no big Woolworths or Coles.
The neighbourhood farm sells fruit and vegetables to the public grown on its 1 acre grounds.
A big part of what we do is grow food for the neighbourhood, but we're also trying to educate people on the art of growing food as well.
With classes on growing your own.
Growing your own food is one of the most empowering things you can do.
On a smaller scale, but with as much passion, is suburban gardener Andy Cumberland.
I make the best dal in the history of man from that stuff.
Every inch of his 600 square metre block produces food.
So that's a native raspberry. Beside that's a guava tree. I've got mulberry trees up there.
Even farming his own fish.
The water pumps out of the fish tank and into the grow beds.
It started from humble beginnings,
I was trying to save money because I've just retired.
but also helped him lose 20 kilograms. His top tip?
Start simple and start with stuff you eat.
This is a trend nurseries expect will grow even as backyards get smaller.
The cost of living full stop at the moment is making people think, well, where can we save money or grow our own?
In season are tomatoes, zucchini and cucumber, eggplant and chilies. Plant leafy greens like rocket and silver beet now and harvest in time for Christmas.
A lot of gardeners make the mistake of planting things at the wrong time.
Food for thought. Laura Dimmick, 7 News.
Hey!